Hello everyone, welcome to
Swords and Sandals,
Our journey begins with a single step of creating the angriest and shoutiest man alive. This one soul responsible for the upcoming legacy of the Masters of Charisma. Just look at that hairline. As we begin our foray into the arena, allow me to explain how charisma and taunt mechanics work for swords and sandals, as it does differ from game to game. In this first title, charisma reduces the prices of armor and weapons from the various shops, and increases the percent chance of taunts being successful. In battle, taunts have three main effects. 1. They can deal damage to your opponent. 2. They can goad your opponent to using their turn involuntarily by moving or lunging against their desires. Or 3. They can knock an enemy back, where the knockback distance is affected by your charisma level. Taunts also cost stamina to use, of which the stamina consumption is based on your charisma level. But there's a caveat whereby there's a minimum energy amount that a taunt can use, a fact that will be taken very much advantage of. And soon enough, we had arrived to the first arena champion. Our hero, Darofus, was feeling pretty full of himself. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? He felt like he was ahead of the game. So the first attempt didn't go very well, but everybody knows that gladiators are able to resurrect themselves. So, with that, Darofus decided to go in for a second time. Surely this time could work. With Wolfgang's limp and dismayed body lying at our feet, we decided that taking his sword would aid our adventure. Maybe shouting directly into the blade would help with some kind of reverberation effect to amplify our damage after all. After some more grueling fights and further destruction of his vocal cords, Darofus was able to reach the next arena champion, the slave driver. While in the Roman times, gladiators were indeed slaves who fought for their freedom, cars didn't yet exist. So I feel this name's a little misrepresentative to the course. Nonetheless, we were able to ragdoll the slave driver and make him our, insert word you know I want to say here, and showed him who truly rules the roost now, celebrating the occasion with a shiny new axe that just happened to be lying around. More fights ensued, more enemies were shaken to the point of submission, until the next arena champion stood in our way. Nine Cat Jack was his name, and adopting multiple felines was his game. Now admittedly, when I was younger, this was the guy that would beat me over and over and over, and every time I used to play Swords and Sandals 1, this MFer was the cause of my rage quits. I used to try all sorts of builds to beat this guy, but now I'm older, yet not necessarily wiser. So, Darofus was going to pit against this man until he doth be slain. Sure, it took a few attempts to finally make it work, but eventually Jack was left to the mercy of Davy Jones's locker, and we were the captain now. The next arena champion we would face was a burly man, Stallonius of Southport.
Tremble, child, for the moment of ownage is upon thee.
Darofus took that one personally. The moment of ownage? Was he serious? The one who must be owned must be Stallonius. And sure, he may have been 1.5 feet taller, but as the old adage goes, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Next on our hit list was Lord Talar Udin. You know this has become serious, because this guy has 4 letters before his name. No matter how much Darofus tried, Lord Udin would not listen to the voice of reason, but rather, this battle took an approach which some may call forceful persuasion. However, it is evident that Darophus is truly a man of words, because he was too busy trying to stab a man with a hammer. You're close, buddy, but that's not normally how it's done. Finally, it has come to this. To become the most powerful arena champion, you must kill the insane tyrant Chaos, Scourge of Edengarth. He has never been defeated. Now, that just means he's never fallen into a pit before, has he? I suppose there's a first for everything. And finally, using only charisma, Darophus had become the new, complete champion, overlord of the arena. Now, I'd never completed this game before, so I just continued to carry on doing more fights. Yeah, it wasn't actually me, it was more just Darophus and his thirst for blood of his enemies. And, his big ego. But that is a wrap on the first Sword and Sandals. Stay tuned for part 2.